Hello everyone, welcome to Chill Flex News. It's wonderful to see you all, and we're glad you're joining us for another presentation today. And today we're going to talk about the Idaho murders. This is you. No, yeah, I should change that. The Idaho unalivings. Oh my goodness. Okay. So sometimes I forget about all those code words we have to use on you. Idaho unalivings. Anyway, I thought I would address this. I've been following this case for a long time, like everybody else. I mean, you cannot help but be interested in it. It's very mysterious. It is one of the most bizarrest cases there's ever been, probably in years. Now, when we go back and think about strange crimes or strange mysterious crimes, well, I mean, my mind goes to like O.J. Simpson or things like that, because that was also mysterious. Even though it was probably him who did it, but we know that there was a lot of mixed up things with that case. But this case is quite mysterious, folks. And it has been. Now, the thing I wanted to mention about this is, we all have our story of when we first heard about this situation that happened. And it's kind of that case, like, where were you at this point? Like, 9/11, we thought the same thing. Where were you when 9/11 happened? Where were you when you heard this story about this Idaho 4 thing? We could go on and on. That could be another video in itself, folks. But I'm only here to talk about my reaction to the Idaho 4 story. Okay. Right now. Maybe later on I will talk about where I was, where I heard about this Idaho 4, and what happened. Because that's a story in itself. I want to talk about, though, what I think really happened in this Idaho 4. And was the man mentioned, Koberger, is he really the guy who did this crime? Did he unalive these 4 college kids? Or was it somebody else? There's a lot of theories going on around there. Here's my theory. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just say what I think really happened here. And I know there's only like a few minutes I have, but do I believe Koberger, the one mentioned, did this crime? And I have to say resounding yes, but I say that in jest because there's too many mysterious elements about this case. There's just too many mysterious things. So that's the problem with this. With the Idaho cases, I think we can say for certain, almost a certain degree, that, I flipped back and forth. One day I used to think, oh, he didn't do it. Next, he did it. However, I lean more towards that he did do this crime, because what happened is, if you look at the evidence shows not much. I agree with most people's theory. The evidence doesn't show a lot that it was him. Here's why I think it was him, and not some fraternity or some third party. Even though I'm not saying they weren't involved. I'm not saying they weren't involved, because they might have been. We just don't know what really happened. But my theory is this, and this is such a broad case, we need an hour to talk about this thing. Not 10 minutes. That's all I've got left. Only have 5 minutes now. But I'm going to say what I can, Anyway, I think he did it. I think most likely he did it. The reason I think he did it is because of the next morning at 9 o'clock, 9:12 a.m., he came back to the scene. They even have it on video. They have his car showing up. Unless that wasn't his car, but I believe that was his car. That's why I think he did it. Why would you come back the next day at 9:12 a.m. to check the scene? Why would you do that? There's no reason. See, that doesn't make sense. It was him. It was Koberger, because the phone pinged exactly where he was at 9:12. It was him that next morning. You don't come back to a crime scene unless you're there to see somebody, if the police came or whatever. He was the one. He did the crime. Based just on that, I would say he's very much involved. Now, here's the problem with this case. That I can't shake. If they didn't have that, if he didn't come back to the crime scene that next morning, I don't know if I would think Koberger did this thing. I would have my doubts. But because he did come back the next morning at 9:12 a.m., I think he probably did the crime. But the problem with this case is there's too many mysteries. There's too much weird things that go on around it. And strange things. The roommates, the Brent Kopeka, the military guy. There's too many strange things. That's why this case is one to really sink your teeth into, because there's something else involved here besides just Koberger doing this unalivings, which he probably did. But what about all the strange things around this case? Why the tight lip? Why the gag order? Why can't you say anything? What is with all the mysteries around this case? There's too many mysteries. There's too many strange things. And that's why I need another hour to talk about them all, or 2 hours. So, folks, we're going to leave it there. I believe he did the crime, but there's too many unanswered questions. There's too many strange things. And I hope someday we get to find out what really happened. The roommates is, of course, the big question. You could go on and on. You could go on and on with all the bizarreness in this case. But we're going to leave it there. We don't have enough time to talk about it here right now. The bottom line is, he did the crime. I would say 70% that he did it. Just what is the big mystery, though, around this case? That's what we all need to be thinking about. We need to be thinking about it. And I also, when I saw Kaylee Gonzalez, when I saw her dad and mom talking today on, this is the 1-year anniversary of this crime, they were very convincing to me that they believe he did it. I mean, they're saying stuff like, why is he in a comfortable, why isn't he in shackles, why is he in a suit, all this stuff. You do not talk that way if you, after 1 year, and you think this guy didn't do the unalivings. It doesn't make sense. So that's one other reason I think he is guilty. All right, folks, we're going to stop there. Have a good one. We'll talk later about this case.